I think that to understand these kinds of experiences from a neuroscientific perspective will provide several reasons for, or several, I think there's several real important reasons for trying to understand this better. Let me start that again. I think there's several important reasons for trying to understand the neuroscientific underpinnings of spiritual states and psychedelic experiences. I think, one, it helps us to understand the human brain better. If we start to understand how the brain works in very complex states, in very complex experiences about the world, we're seeing an integrated functioning of different structures in the brain, and I think to be able to understand that in a deeper way, in a more biological way, will only help us to better figure out how the brain itself works on a global scale. Since there do appear to be health-related advantages of being a religious or spiritual person or having a mystical state, and that usually these are associated with lower levels of depression and anxiety, a better sense of purpose in the world, a better sense of the person's self, and so forth. I think trying to understand that relationship becomes also critical, because maybe we need to find ways of being more effective at helping individuals who are depressed, who have anxiety, and maybe we can turn towards spirituality as a way of helping them with these kinds of experiences. And again, this is not meant to be for all individuals, but there may be ways of trying to improve our ways of interacting with people, of dealing with individuals, not just on a biological level, but on a social level, on a psychological level, on a spiritual level, that may help us to ultimately heal people in a much more effective way. And finally, at least again, I hope that that this information may provide us a new perspective, at least, on some ancient theological and philosophical questions about how we are to be in the world, how we are to relate to that world, how we experience reality. Whether we will answer those big questions or not, I don't know. But I think that since the spiritual perspectives of these questions, as well as the scientific ones, both have some very important information to offer, to me it just makes sense to try to find ways of bringing those two perspectives together in some way, seeing where their strengths and weaknesses are, and trying to do the best that we can at getting to those big questions by finding a better integrated and more holistic approach to understanding our world in that regard.